All vehicles begin life here in the receiving stores, with the delivery rolls of high-grade steel. These rolls will differ in their thickness or gauge depending on their use. The steel is checked and inspected and passed on to the press shop. The press shop covers an area of over 20,000 square metres and produces 3,000 different items of sheet metal components per hour, known as stampings. The first operation is to cut the rolls into sheets, ready for delivery to the individual presses. Some presses are manually operated, where production operators handle the material, but the majority of presses are what we call multi-stage transfer. This is where the stampings are automatically passed on to the next stage. Here we see the forming of the side load door. The sheet steel is picked up and fed to the press by two automatic loaders. The metal is stamped and shaped and then passed to the trimmer. In less than a minute, the original sheet of steel is transformed into a finished pressed side load door, ready for delivery to the assembly line. Throughout the plant, inspectors are on hand to monitor the quality control processes at all stages. Wherever you look in the press shop, there will be stampings of all shapes and sizes. Some are more recognisable than others, but at this stage they simply look like pieces of a huge jigsaw puzzle. During the trimming process, any off-cut metal drops down to a chute beneath the press and onto a conveyor. The conveyor delivers the off-cuts to a collection point for onward transition to the steel mill for reprocessing. This is all part of IBC's commitment to supporting the government's environmental recycling policy. After the press shop comes the body assembly. Each workstation has an overhead display showing the build information. The first stage is to lay the chassis members, made of heavy gauge steel, onto the alignment jig. Each side is made up of two separate longitudinal sections with cross members. This is the foundation that gives the Vivaro its strength and rigidity. The early stages of the welding process are manual, and here we see the first of over 5,000 spot welds that the vehicle will collect during its journey along the line. When the operators find some of the locations difficult to reach, then the robots move in. Quality control inspectors are again monitoring the system, and in this case, with equipment that can electronically measure the strength of welds. The chassis travels on its way, but meanwhile, many other sub-assemblies are taking place. Each one of these operations, where stampings that again are not always easy to recognise, are nevertheless imperative to the process. The important thing is to get them to the right place at the right time on the assembly line. Suddenly, the jigsaw begins to take shape. From this point on, the robots take over. The robots seem to handle these large panels as if they weigh no more than a piece of paper and position them with absolute precision. The floor, body sides and roof are now framed. The welding together of these major components is the most significant stage, where the jigsaw pieces become a vehicle. The doors are fitted with equipment that makes the whole job look very easy. Then a final inspection for any blemishes and a check for panel fit, and it's off to the paint shop. The secret of any paint process begins with meticulous body preparation, where a grease-destroying alkaline solution provides a perfectly clean surface. Because operators are not allowed in here, lighting is not needed. This is the twilight zone that only the Vivaro can experience. Next comes a series of dips, this one being an application of zinc phosphate crystals, which improves the adhesion of the paint. Then the body is passed through a shower of demineralised water before entering the red light district. This is the ELPO dip. ELPO stands for Electrically Applied Polymer Coating and is a process where we use an electric charge to attract an exact thickness of paint. It is the most sophisticated anti-corrosion system that technology can provide and puts a real meaning behind IBC's anti-corrosion warranty. The process involves passing a current of 1000 amps at 500 volts through a body shell while it's completely immersed in 1/3 of a million litres of primer. After further rinsing, the body is baked in an oven. The heat of the oven gives the body shell a green tint. Before entering the paint shop, the body must have sealer applied at the panel joints. It can be seen here in the engine compartment, the rear load bay and the underbody. It's also applied to the load compartment around the rear wheel arch. From here, the body shell enters a dust-free clean room. Here, in this multi-million-pound state-of-the-art facility, each vehicle receives one of the best finishes in the industry, providing maximum durability and optimum resistance to corrosion. These robots start by applying a waterborne primer paint layer to the body shell. This base coat provides a good foundation for the coloured paint. Finally, the top coat is applied by robot, with the finer details applied by hand to give the perfect finish. Using water-based paint is a further commitment by IBC to support the environmental policy. The painted body shells now move into the final leg of their journey, general assembly. General assembly has two separate assembly lines, one for body trim and one for drivetrain. Here we see the drivetrain, where all of the chassis and running components are positioned onto a jig. Rear suspension, exhaust, fuel and brake lines, and other ancillaries are added. The engines are built in adjoining assembly bay with cable harnesses, coolant hoses, fuse boxes and control units. The completed engines are then taken to the main assembly line. Meanwhile, the steering rack is placed in position and the engine is lowered into place. When the chassis is fully built up, the steering fluid is added. Then a hoist picks up the entire assembly and transports it to the marriage line, where body and chassis come together. The finished vehicle undergoes a complete function check. This involves checking the electrical systems, the lights, and making sure that the windscreen wipers are working correctly before the completed vehicle is driven off the end of the line, ready to be shipped to the customer. You'll be picking up the production story at the trim conveyor and following it to the point where the vehicle is finally signed off and dispatched to the retailer. Thank you for watching this video, and we hope you have an enjoyable tour.